Welcome back to Lady Tradie. Today I'm showing you a repair job. So I have patched holes in walls previously in other videos, but this is what to do if there's a really large hole in the wall. So when I did my laundry reno, I pulled a bunch of tiles off and there was already a hole behind the tiles, but I made it significantly worse. So I want to show you one way that you could repair that. The first thing that you want to do is remove the damaged area. So I'm going to cut out a square piece here and replace it with a new piece of plasterboard. Now, if you were plastering over this and just painting it because it's just a regular section of wall, I would actually remove this entire large square. So the entire damaged area I would cut out and replace with a square of plaster. However, because I tile over this in my laundry splashback, I'm just going to remove a few small sections and then place smaller pieces of plaster in there attached to the timber behind. Because I am going to tile over the top, I also won't need to plaster. So if you want to learn how to plaster over patches like this, check out my other videos called How to Repair a Hole in the Wall or How to Plaster a New Wall. And that will give you some tips on making sure you do a decent plastering job before painting over the top. Now, if there's no timber already in the wall behind the plaster, you will probably need to add some to hold it in place. So what I'm doing here is just using a small strip of timber. I'm holding it in place in the center of that hole, and I'm going to screw through the plaster into the timber in a couple of locations to hold that in place. And then once the timber's secure, I can then get my new piece of plaster and screw that into the timber. Now, because I'm tiling over it, the screw heads are irrelevant, so it doesn't really matter. But if this was a regular piece of wall, you would want to make sure that you use flathead screws and also embed them a little bit in the plaster so that you could then put fill over the top. Also, if I wasn't going to tile over the top of this, I would have obviously cut my pieces of plaster or my replacement plaster to fit a lot more snugly. It didn't really matter because I am going to tile over this, but if it was just a regular wall, you would want to cut this so that it fit really snugly up against the existing wall. And then you come along with some of this adhesive tape and you just stick it over the gap between the old and the new plaster, and then you're ready to go and use your fill and plaster over the top of that. So check out my other videos I mentioned earlier and it will show you how to do that so that you get a nice clean and smooth wall finish.